Welcome to the wonderful world of the human brain. In this video, we will dive into the limitless possibilities and fascinating secrets of the organ that is the source of our thinking, feelings, memory and perception. The human brain, is a true miracle of nature. It has incredible complexity and functionality that we are just beginning to understand. In this video, we will tell you about the most incredible facts about the human brain that will cause you amazing. The power of neurons. Did you know that the human brain consists of approximately 86 billion neurons? Let's take a closer look at this astounding figure and take a look at the enormous power of neurons. In our brain, each neuron is a specialized cell, which is the main building unit of the brain. They have a unique structure consisting of a cell body, dendrites and an axon. The cell body contains a nucleus that contains genetic information and regulates the vital processes of the neuron. Dendrites look like a set of branches that extend from the cell body and serve to receive signals from other neurons. The axon, on the other hand, exits the cell body and transmits electrical signals from the neuron to other neurons. Neurons interact with each other through synapses, small gaps between the ends of axons and dendrites. This allows electrical signals to be transmitted from one neuron to another, forming complex networks and allowing the brain to perform complex functions. Returning to the fact, the thought that occurs in our brain generates electrical impulses that are transmitted from neuron to neuron through synapses. But it is impossible to see these impulses without special equipment, such as electroencephalography, which allows you to register the electrical activity of the brain. Therefore, although we cannot see the activity of our thoughts directly, our neurons work so efficiently and quickly that they form complex networks and allow us to perceive the world, think, feel and act. Speed of information processing. Imagine that you are listening to my words now. The information you perceive goes through complex processing processes in your brain. Let's look at the phenomenal speed with which your brain processes information. When the sound reaches your ear, the sound waves are converted into electrical signals and transmitted to the auditory center of your brain. And here the amazing thing begins. Your brain processes this information at a speed of about 120 meters per second. This means that your brain can instantly process and analyze information, allowing you to perceive and react to the world in real time. It is able to quickly recognize sounds, images, smells and sensations, and transmit to you the necessary signals for action. Imagine how difficult and inefficient it would be if your brain processed information more slowly. You could not react so quickly to the world around you and perform a variety of tasks. Thanks to the incredible speed of information processing, your brain allows you to think, analyze, remember and create. It's a wonderful reminder of how amazing and complex the human brain is. Incredible plasticity of the brain. One of the most amazing facts about the human brain is its ability to plasticity. Let's study this phenomenon in more detail and get acquainted with the amazing ability of the brain to change and adapt. Brain plasticity is the ability of brain tissue to change its structure and function in response to new experiences, learning, training and rehabilitation. This means that your brain can change its connections and create new ways of transmitting information. It is important to note that brain plasticity is observed throughout life. In childhood, it is especially pronounced, so children easily learn new skills and knowledge. However, adults can also change their brains through learning and training. For example, studies have shown that learning new skills and learning new information contribute to the formation of new connections between neurons and strengthen existing connections. This allows your brain to perform tasks related to these new skills more efficiently. The brain does not store information accurately. One of the surprising facts about the human brain is that it is not an ideal repository of information. We may think of the brain as our personal computer, but its ability to store information and reproduce it is not as simple and flawless as it seems. Let's look at this phenomenon in more detail. Your brain is not an exact copy of the past. Memory is a complex process that involves encoding, storing and retrieving information. During this process, distortions, omissions, or changes in memories may occur. When we recover information from memory, our brain is influenced by many factors: our own experiences, emotions, biases and external influences can distort our perception and reproduction of events. This phenomenon is known as the false memory effect. It can manifest itself in the form of incorrect memories created on the basis of bias or the influence of external sources of information. This does not mean that our brain is not able to store information. It can be surprisingly good at preserving important events and facts, especially when they evoke strong emotions or important moments are repeated. However, we must remember that our brain is prone to errors and distortions. Therefore, it is important to be aware of possible inaccuracies in our memories and, if necessary, use additional sources of information for verification. As a result, our brain is an amazing organ, but it is not an absolutely accurate repository of information. We must be cautious and open to new facts and sources of information in order to gain a more complete understanding of the world around us. The brain consumes a large amount of energy. One of the phenomenal facts about the human brain is its high energy consumption. The brain is one of the most energy-consuming organs in our body. Let's look at this fact in more detail. Apart from its incredible complexity, the brain is also one of the most active organs in our body, despite the fact that it makes up only about 2% of our total body weight. It consumes about 20% of all energy received from food. This is due to the fact that the brain is constantly working, processing information transmitted between neurons and controlling all our functions and activities, even at rest. The brain continues to consume energy to maintain basic functions. This means that we have to provide our brain with enough energy so that it can function efficiently. Interestingly, most of this energy goes to maintaining the work of neurons and synapses that transmit electrical and chemical signals between them. To meet the brain's energy needs, it receives nutrients from the blood, including glucose and oxygen. Glucose is the main source of energy for the brain. Interestingly, even in the absence of food or lack of glucose, the brain should still receive energy. In this case, it can use alternative energy sources, such as ketones, which are formed when fats are broken down. Thus, we see that the brain is an organ that works continuously and requires a large amount of energy for its effective work. Maintaining proper nutrition and sufficient energy levels are important aspects of maintaining brain health and optimal brain function. The brain has a unique ability to recognize faces and remember their features. The human brain has an incredible ability to recognize and remember faces. Let's look at this amazing process in more detail. When we look at someone's face, our brain activates certain areas responsible for recognizing faces. These areas are located in the back of the brain, in an area called the parietal lobe. In these areas of the brain there are special neurons called facial recognition neurons. They have the ability to analyze the shape of the face, the location of the eyes, nose, mouth and other features to determine who this face belongs to. But our brain not only recognizes faces, it is also able to remember their features. After we see someone's face and recognize him, the brain stores information about him and creates a kind of template of this face. When we see this face again, the brain compares it with the saved template and determines that it is the same person. This explains why we can recognize familiar people even after a long absence. Surprisingly, even the slightest changes in the face, such as hairstyle or mustache, may not greatly affect our ability to recognize familiar faces. This unique ability of the brain to recognize and remember faces plays an important role in our social communication and interaction with other people. So the next time you see a familiar face, remember that your brain has made an incredible effort so that you can recognize and remember it. The connection between the brain and dreams. Let's take a closer look at this amazing connection and find out how the brain affects our dreams. Dreams are a unique state of consciousness that occurs during sleep. They can be vivid, realistic, strange, or even frightening. Interestingly, the brain plays an important role in shaping and regulating our dreams. Research shows that during dreams, certain areas of the brain are activated, while other areas are suppressed. This suggests that the brain plays a role in creating and managing the content and characteristics of our dreams. One of the key structures associated with dreams is the hippocampus, which is responsible for the formation and consolidation of memory. Studies show that during dreams, the hippocampus actively interacts with other areas of the brain, especially with the cortex, which is responsible for processing information. This interaction between the hippocampus and the cerebral cortex allows the brain to create and experience a variety of scenarios and situations during dreams. We can see familiar or unfamiliar faces, experience emotions, move through time and space. All this is possible thanks to the complex work of the brain during dreams. Although the mechanisms that determine the content and meaning of dreams are not fully understood, research continues to uncover all the secrets of this phenomenon. The brain plays an important role in creating and managing our dreams, making them exciting and sometimes mysterious adventures inside our own imagination. Thank you for joining us on a journey into the world of the human brain. Keep wondering, exploring, and being open to new discoveries. And remember that each of us has an incredible power inside our brain, and only we ourselves can unlock its potential.